I've got my drivers pulled out, and I'm going to wind up going with complete Zobels on every single driver just because I have them. I didn't think that they hurt the performance. If anything, they probably improved the way the crossover behaves. So I'll go ahead and leave those Zobels on there. And this one here, I've got to do a gasket and final wiring on. That one's wired with the polarity correct. And this is this attenuation / Zobel network that I have on there. And I've got to clean up those connections like I mentioned. The mid-range is actually running at a reverse polarity. I need to clean up that wiring there. I've also put the Zobel network for the mid-range here, and that's the white resistor, the green resistor, and the two black capacitors that you see there. This is the bass reflex port that's going to go in that hole there, which is too small. As you can see, I need to open up that hole. And then finally, this is the woofer that I'll be putting in there. I do need to put gasket material on it. It's already got the Zobel network on there. And like I say, it didn't hurt it. If anything, I think it improved it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on there. And the wiring for the woofers here, I'll probably redo those terminal ends as well, just to make sure that everything's clean and tight. And then I'm going to test it. So transform this cabinet and replace that little tiny port with this big one. So hang in there with me, and you know, you're going to see some serious hacking. This should be the final version of this CS315 modification. Got the GRS tweeter from Parts Express. It's supposed to be like a replica of an old Marantz tweeter. It's just a cone tweeter. I've got the Dayton 5-inch full range PA speaker running as a mid-range with a chamber behind it. And I've got the Dayton Classic Series 2 15-inch woofer from 20 plus years ago. The port is a 3.5 by like 7-inch long port with a big flare on the end. I'm running a 3-way crossover inside that's supposed to cross over at 800 and 5000. Wiring's been changed. It's got all the insulation inside. I added bracing, I added gussets. Used a calculator online with the specs as close as I could get them on these drivers for all the Zobel networks on each speaker. So let's see how it measures out. This is pretty impressive if you ask me, for a DIY slap it together speaker using an old vintage cabinet. Yeah, I'd say that's a keeper. Looks like we're going all the way down to 40 hertz. Actually, this measurement microphone is supposed to go down to 20. So if this is true reading, this thing's going beyond, you know, at 20 and a little bit lower. So it's like not quite minus 2 dB for you. Let's just go and use this 80 negative 80 dB as our kind of baseline. And we're down, well, at 10 hertz. I don't even know if that's a real reading, but it's showing at minus 2 dB. At 20, it's not quite minus 2 dB. By the time we get to 40, we're almost plus 2 dB. We've got a decent hump here in this very sensitive kind of low bass, mid bass area from like we're plus 4 dB at 60 hertz. And then we move along all the way, we're carrying that up to 100. And then it starts a kind of a gradual decline down toward 200. Although right at 200, we're still at the negative 2 dB above our reference line. Take a little dip, not quite 2 dB. We do kind of jump up in this area. It's a good 4 dB plus, a little bit over. What's that? 250 range, something like that. But anyway, I don't know. It looks pretty steady through here. 2, 4 dB. So plus minus, oh, I'd speculate that we are plus minus about, I'd say plus minus 8 dB, give or take. Maybe a little bit less. It's hard to say. As far as this weighting goes, I've got it as sensitive as I can possibly make it with zero smoothing.